Alright, so a while ago, I played a few SCP games, and I believe I said that I wanted to get more into the whole SCP thing, and then never did anything else about it. Well, the other day, um, someone said that I should react to some videos from the channel The Rubber, which are SCP animations. So, here we are. They said that I should start with SCP-173, and I don't remember what the other one was, but I have, like, 4 videos queued up. I think the other one they recommended is, the one that I have after this. So, whichever one that is. They also recommended that one. So yeah, let's just get into it.
I'm the Rubber. Today, we bring you an SCP Foundation Euclid class object, SCP-173. SCP-173 is anime and extremely hostile. It moved to the SCP
I remember.
Foundation in 1993.
I watched Mark play an SCP game. I don't remember what it was called, but that dude was there. I think, isn't that the one that, like, you can't take your eyes off of it? Or else it'll, like, move? I think it is.
But its origins are unknown to this day. SCP-173 is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is completely still while in an organism's field of vision, only moving when it isn't being watched, even if the observer simply blinks or barely looks off the object. Just when the observer blinks, SCP-173 will make a grindstone sound and move forward a short distance quickly. Despite the fact that it is a statue, SCP-173 can move fast enough to travel several feet in the time it takes for the human eye to reopen after blinking. It can literally move faster than the blink of an eye.
So, if it's a statue, but it moves, then does its legs move like it's walking, or does it just slide? Because statues aren't supposed to move at all. I don't know.
It will advance towards its target until it is in range, then snaps its victim's neck. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull, or by strangulation. SCP-173 is apparently strong enough to snap the neck of a fully grown man almost instantly, although exactly how it does this is unknown. However, the creature is rendered completely immobile for as long as it's in an organism's sight. Therefore, personnel assigned to enter container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. However, this is considered normal. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is
because there's no one watching it, so it can move whenever it wants.
The source of these materials is still unknown. And due to the increasing amount of reddish-brown material, its enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis. Being constructed of concrete and rebar, SCP-173 is incredibly durable, able to hold itself in a fight against SCP-682. SCP-682 is a massive reptilian beast with almost unlimited regenerative powers that is widely considered the most adaptive and durable SCP the Foundation contains. If you want to know more about SCP-682, you can click on this video in the upper right corner. Back to 173. So the Foundation personnel arranged a battle with 682 in order to test the durability of 173. And from that day on, it inspires great fear in 682. Because SCP-173 is an extremely dangerous object, hence is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. And now, probably the scariest thing is that 173 seems to have started its reproduction. Here's one of the recordings
that's
of
nice.
personnel's in 173's containment. What are you looking at? John Avery, presently known as D5933, shouted at the other D-Class personnel in the cell. SCP-173, what are you looking at? Came the reply. This worried John, as he was staring intently at SCP-173, and the other D-Class personnel was standing behind John, facing the other direction. Then, John heard the worst sound any human being had ever heard, a sneeze, coming from 6 inches behind his head. For a second, John remembered an episode of Mythbusters he had seen before being arrested.
Oh,
before
he
coming
did.
here, where they tested to see if someone could sneeze with his eyes open. And yep, he never saw the end.
Oh, they're
There
both
was a
dead,
sick,
aren't
wet
they?
thud.
Because, like, they were... Like, I'm sorry to keep pausing it so much, but, like, they're standing, like, back to back. They both have one of the SCPs in front of them, because it, like, multiplied, or whatever you want to call it. But then the one guy sneezed, causing him to close his eyes, so the one in front of him broke his neck. And then since the other guy wasn't looking at that one, it was free to move, so he's gonna come up behind the other guy and snap his neck too, isn't it?
A horrible ripping sound and a scream that ended too quickly. John didn't even have a chance to turn around and look over. From SCP-173's Addendum 1, it was written that SCP-173 appeared to multiply, producing 2 identical copies. 2 D-Class personnel were killed. It is unknown how this process occurred. Each instance of SCP-173
But you said that there were supposed to be no less than 3 people in there, so why was there less than 3 people in there? Because my guess would be, had there been a third person, neither of those 2 would have died. Because at least somebody would have been looking at them. To me, that seems like their own damn fault.
73, now labeled SCP-173-1 and SCP-173-2, is to be moved to individual cells each following original containment procedures. In Addendum 2, it was noted down that a second multiplication event occurred. SCP-173-1 through 4 are to be each contained as per original
Okay, we
containment
got 4
procedures.
of them now.
Objects reclassed as Keter. And in the Addendum 3, at least 61 copies of SCP-173 are as of now unaccounted for.
That's
It
a
is
lot of
unknown how they
copies.
replicated
I'm sorry,
said
unaccounted
facts,
for?
or how they replicate at all. Video evidence of the containment breach shows multiple instances of SCP-173 working in unison across multiple cells to achieve the breach.
They're using
Most of the
Morse
instances
code.
still in captivity appear to have formed a rear guard, blocking Foundation agents from pursuing other instances. It is theorized that SCP-173 has a hive intelligence, where intelligence scales with number of nearby copies. SCP-173 has caused a breach of secrecy for the SCP Foundation. Estimates at this time are roughly 500,000 civilian deaths across North America in the last 48 hours due to SCP-173, and hundreds of thousands of sightings and pieces of video evidence. Major television news programs have obtained video of SCP-173 and are providing instructions for avoiding instant death. And following saturation nuclear bombing on number of SCP-173 instances has been reduced. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Have you ever heard or encountered any paranormal event? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to this channel, and hit
Okay, hold on. Hold yourself. So, it multiplied, broke out, killed a bunch of people. And so then, like, the people on the news were talking about, like, hey, don't do this if you want to live. So, what'd they do? Have to freaking talk to the SCP people or whatever? Yeah, because it said something about a breach of secrecy or something. Okay.
I'm the Rubber. Today, we bring you a SCP Foundation Euclid class object SCP-096.
So yeah, this is the other one that the
SCP-096
person
is a
recommended
humanoid
that I
creature
watch.
measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height. SCP-096
Pretend like
shows
I know
very
how
little
tall that
muscle
is.
mass, with a preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. It has no sign of any body hair. Its skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, and it probably doesn't have pupils either. Other facial features remain similar to an average
Probably?
human, with the exception of the eyes. SCP-096's jaw can open to 4 times the norm of an
Oh.
average human. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient. SCP-096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall, and it doesn't seem to need food. Based on its response, the researchers are determined that 096 is very shy. It tries to
So-
stay as far to humans as
Basically, Slender Man just with a face.
possible. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, we'll call this person SCP-0961. Whether it be directly, via video recording, or even a photograph, it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the viewing, SCP-096 will begin running towards SCP-0961. It moves at 35 kilometers an hour and seems to depend on distance from SCP-0961. If it is
Again, I'm
very
gonna
far
pretend
away,
like I
it
know
will
how
be able
fast
to
that
run
is.
very fast. The actual position of SCP-0961 does not seem to affect SCP-096's response. It seems to have an innate sense of SCP-0961's location. Upon
That's, like,
arriving at
basically straight.
SCP-0961's location, SCP-096 will proceed to attack and kill SCP-0961. 100% of cases have left no traces of SCP-0961. SCP-096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. Then the Foundation staff will take it back to the SCP shelter. The most extreme case at present is that someone saw only a part of its picture and was also killed by it. At this point, no known material or method can
fun.
impede SCP-096's progress. In one of the audio recordings, the former commander of the recovery team said, even if they were firing it intensely, but it didn't feel anything at all. They even used anti-tank weapons, causing part of the body, organs, and blood of 096 to be gone. But it was
Ugh.
still able to move forward and destroy the entire team. Besides, because it does not cover
So what
its
is it?
face when it's running
Grow
towards
its
its target, anyone who
stuff
sees
back?
it will be killed by it along the way. Due to the possibility of a mass chain reaction, including breach of Foundation secrecy and large civilian loss of life, a doctor of the Foundation has also petitioned for immediate termination of SCP-096. The Foundation has carried out several execution experiments, one of which is to send the
I mean, like, the termination is like killing it, right? And so, like, on one hand, like, I get that because, like, they don't want to risk anyone else, like, seeing it and then it killing them or whatever. But at the same time, he just wants to be left alone. Like, it literally showed him sitting just in a corner. So just, like, don't look at pictures or of his face or anything, and he'll be good.
containment tank containing SCP-096 into SCP-682's cell. SCP-682 is a large,
This is
vaguely
the
reptile-like
second one?
creature of unknown
Or
origin. It has a
talked
powerful
about this one now?
regeneration ability and adaptability, and also has the title of Immortal Body. If you want to know more about SCP-682, do click on this video. So back to the execution experiment. The screams of the two entities continue for 27 hours, at which point the noise abruptly
That's
stops.
a long time.
Sonar-based video feeds reveal SCP-096 severely wounded and huddled in the southwest corner, apparently upset. Feed shows SCP-682 on the north end of the room, approximately 85% of its initial mass absent. Further attempts to expose SCP-096 to SCP-682 cause it to turn away from 682, jumping in place while clawing at its face and screaming. Because 096 will only attack when people see its face, so the Foundation has long housed it in an airtight steel cube. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096's cell. Any and all photos,
See, there you
videos,
go.
or recordings of SCP-096's likeness are strictly forbidden. But it's said that an abstract painting or its cartoon image is not prohibited because it won't stimulate the emotional distress reaction of 096. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Have you ever heard or encountered any...
So, they locked it away in a giant cube. There are no cameras in the cube, so it can't see it. They got rid of any recordings or pictures of its face. And yet, they would want to have paintings of it? Okay.
Paranormal. I'm the Rubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object SCP.
See, this is really cute. Like, I like that, like, the intro to each of these videos.
Also known as the Young Girl, is a small 3-year-old girl. She is capable of basic speech and appears to be slightly above average in terms of mental development. Her personality is generally pleasant, and she rarely seems to get upset. However, she will appear agitated when in a large group. Any and all humans over the age of 3 who engage in eye contact and physical touch, or those who remain around 053 for longer than 10 minutes, rapidly become irrational, paranoid, and homicidal. Most, if not all, of these feelings will be directed at 053, and afflicted subjects will attempt to kill 053 after first killing or driving off all humans visible to them. Those attempting to kill 053 will suffer massive heart attacks or seizures and die seconds after inflicting physical damage to 053. However, 053 has a healing factor that allows her to regenerate almost instantaneously from any wound. According to a recovery log, SCP-053 was discovered on July 10, 2008, in Pennsylvania, at the residence of Andrew and Madeline. Police who attempted to interact with 053 also suffered from 053's anomalous effects, resulting in 5 additional casualties before implanted Foundation agents assessed the situation and properly secured the subject. Class A amnestic drugs were administered.
Okay, so wait, if it's just a little girl, then how did it get to be like that?
To all non-personnel involved, including Andrew's parents in Florida, as they had been exposed to information regarding SCP-053 through communication with Andrew. Since June 5, 2004, Andrew had been sending his mother news and updates on SCP-053. They named her as Abby. Below is the documentation log from 4 years ago, first email about Abby, to July 10, 2008, the last email sent out by Andrew to his mother. June 5, 2004. Hey Mom, sorry I haven't emailed you throughout the past month. Things have been pretty busy, but I have great news.
Phone call?
You're gonna be a grandma. We found out yesterday that Maddie's pregnant, and we've already started turning the guest room into a baby room. Good thing I got a pay raise last week. We gotta think of the baby now. Hope to hear from you soon. March 7th, 2005. It's a girl. She was born last night around 10 at night. Madeline's water broke as she was going to sleep. We drove to the hospital so fast. I think I almost hit someone.
Little girl, SCP
Jesus, waiting for the
thing.
doctors to deliver her felt like years. Now, as I type this email,
Normally, I mean, like, I get, like, depending where you are, I guess, but normally, they let the dad be in the room with the mom.
she's downstairs, fast asleep in Maddie's arms. We named her Abby, and she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'll send pictures soon. March 8th, 2006.
Hey Mom, Abby's first birthday was yesterday. Howard and Rachel even showed up. Got to see their niece for the first time. Too bad you and Dad are all the way down in Florida. We'll have to visit when Abby's older. Love you. June 24th,
I was gonna say that's what
2008.
planes are for.
There's been an accident. We were at the playground and we took our eyes off of her for 1 second, and she fell off of the jungle gym and landed on her head.
How?
I saw blood. The doctor said she'll recover fine, but I can't sleep. It is all my fault. June 25th, 2008. The hospital called and said that Abby will have to stay there for a few more days, but she's all patched up and on the fast track to recovery. No brain damage or anything, it seems. I'm just glad my baby is gonna be okay. July 2nd, 2008. Mom, there's something wrong with Abby. I mean, she looks and acts perfectly fine, but I know something isn't right with her. Madeline says she feels it too.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
We started feeling it after Abby's injury at the playground. We've had the doctors look her over, but as far as they're concerned, they couldn't identify any permanent damage, physical or mental. But I just know there's something wrong with her. July 5th, 2008. We got an email from Dr. Williams today. He says that he's been able to identify problems exist in Abby, but he can't determine if they're physical or mental. It just doesn't make any sense, he says. He claimed that whenever he was around her, he couldn't shake the feeling of wrongness. The staff who were working with him agreed, apparently. He didn't tell us at first because he didn't want Maddie and I to worry, but it appears that he just couldn't keep quiet any longer. What's wrong with my daughter? July 9th, 2008. I can't even look at Abby for more than a few seconds at a time now. There's something about her now, and it just shouldn't be. When I'm around her, I just get this awful, indescribable feeling, like I'd rather be anywhere else but next to my own daughter. I try and limit my interaction with her as much as I possibly can. It's terrible. But being around her, it makes me want to throw up.
Wow, okay. Some dad you are. But did, like, hitting her head cause her to become the SCP or whatever? It's like if she was totally fine, like when she was born, like as she was growing up, I'm gonna assume something happened when she hit her head. But my question is, what happened?
Up. It's inside of her, in her eyes, in her skin, everything about her. I just don't know what it is. July 10th, 2008. I touched her hand. It felt so wrong. Madeline said she felt it too, but she believes that it's something inside of her. I'm gonna kill them both. I'm gonna kill that, and I'm gonna kill that thing. It needs to die. After receiving the last email,
Don't do
Andrew's
that.
mother quickly phoned the local police to check on his son.
But
Soon after, police discovered 053 and the deceased bodies of the couple within the same room. Madeline had died from multiple stab wounds inflicted by Andrew, who had died from a massive heart attack shortly afterward, believed to have been caused by 053's anomalous effects. Following this incident, 053 was contained by the Foundation. 053 is to be contained in an area no less than 5 by 5 meters and given adequate room to move. Toys, books, games, and other recreational devices are to be provided and rotated every 3 months. Proper bedding, bathroom, and medical facilities are to be maintained at all times. In addition, 053 is also given 3 meals a day, alongside snacks if requested. Anyone who enters her chamber must wear an eye-covering suit for safety concerns. And while gifts from her are allowed to be accepted, they must be removed from the room. Only one person is allowed in her room in any given instance, and they are only permitted to stay for no longer than 10 minutes. Any sharp objects or firearms are banned from her room, and anyone who begins to act erratically, scream, or attempt to grab 053 are to be removed and quarantined. In a termination test, the Foundation introduced SCP-682 to SCP-053. 682 appeared to be very confused.
This thing's just their solution to everything, isn't
and showed
it?
no signs of being affected by 053. Initially, 053 appeared to be afraid of 682 and hid behind a chair in her containment area. 682 then lowered itself to the ground, resting its head on the floor, and spoke after a while. 053 approached 682, and after several seconds of hesitation, she briefly touched SCP-682 before quickly returning to her hiding place. 682 had no reaction. 053 approached 682 and pat its head, causing it to exhale through its forward nostrils. SCP-053 clapped and hopped in place several times before embracing the head of SCP-682. For the remainder of the testing period, 682 did not feel frustrated by spending time with this small child, like he did in every other test. He understood that the child was a hated thing as well, one that had suffered like him. They were alike in that way. He had attempted to break out a few times anyways, to find out where the disgusting researchers were watching from and find out if they had hurt her as they had him. This had, however, frightened 053. So, for the time being, he allowed himself to be decorated with a cowboy hat that was too small. Although he appreciated how oddly pleasant and relaxing it
That's
was
cute.
when her tiny arms hugged his scarred, scaly back and demanded to be carried around. Eventually, 053 grew tired, yawning and rubbing her eyes with tiny fists. 682 lifted the child carefully in his teeth by the back of her shirt and carried her off to bed, placing her gently on the mattress and circling the bed once, twice, 3 times before curling around her in a protective little ring. Soon enough, 053 was fast asleep, and he was her new protector. Remember to check out my new animation channel, The Rubber Talks, where I share my life story, thoughts, and opinion.
I like that one. That was really cute. Okay. Things are falling, I guess. But, and that was cute, like how they brought it in as a test or experiment or whatever, and it ended up like cozying up to her. That's cute. I like that one. Alright, so the editing on this one might be a little bit different because, well, it's almost 4:30 in the morning again, so I'm just trying to like get this done so I can go to sleep. But yeah, so I apologize. I had to cut it off all of a sudden, like at the last one. I actually did have one other one that I had queued up to play, and I got like halfway through, but then my computer quit recording, and I wasn't trying to fight with it anymore. So, if you guys want to see me watch some more of these, then I can do that, because these are actually really interesting. It's not really what I thought they were gonna be like. If you guys have watched, like, listened to Distractible, like, podcast with Mark, Bob, and Wade, the YouTube channel for the podcast, where they upload, like, little animated clips from the podcast, I thought, like, it was gonna be kind of like that, but this is really cool. I'm actually liking this. So, again, like I said, if you want to see me watch some more of these, then let me know. And, yeah, so once again, I apologize. I had to cut it off so fast like that. But yeah, so I will put a link or tag whatever the channel down in the description, and I will link the Discord, Twitter, and Instagram. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this, but I caved. So I made a TikTok for the channel because I want to do some like reaction videos to like FNAF TikToks and stuff. So I will also link that down in the description. So if you want to, like, you don't have to follow me or anything, but like if you want to either like send me or tag me in some FNAF videos over there, then feel free to do that. I don't know why I'm using my hands so much right now. So yeah, again, apologize. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.